is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And on today's very special 8-hour episode of the podcast, we will be sharing our thoughts, opinions, reactions to reactions, and reactions to reactions to reactions about the death of sports card content. That nobody wants to listen to that garbage. Here's Joe Day and EP Eric Mahalik. How you doing, boys?
I am so proud of us that we have not talked about this. We haven't even texted each other about this because it's such a nothing burger topic. I love that we aren't. This is the most you're going to get out of us about it. This is it. This joke at the beginning, which very well done, Mike. That was a one taker.
That was
three cards in the last couple of weeks have not been one takers, but this was a one taker. Very good. But in all seriousness, what do you guys think about the death of sports card hobby content? I get.
Well,
no,
I love Mike. You have no idea who this is, but there was a little bit of Pert Hapley in there. It was amazing.
Yeah, there was some Pert Hapley. Right? Very much.
Yeah,
good call. Parks and Rec, great character on Parks and Rec.
He's a newscaster on Parks and Rec. He's hilarious. He's great.
The story about this next story is,
and I just realized I'm not holding my microphone.
It's something that brings us and Neo together. So we are both in agreement about this. So I know Joe poked a little fun at him, but he's been all over not being all over this too, so I think that's kind of funny that he's been poking. We even actually had a little bit of dialogue on Twitter, like a little bit back and forth about this. So
did he ask you about that Shatner Stewart that he's trying to get from me?
No, I don't know anything about that.
To get you to put a good word in or anything? No,
he might have sent me a check.
So, okay.
Oh, how's it going, boys? All joking aside, yes, we're not going to talk about the death of sports card content because really, why would it make any sense to talk about the death? Why wouldn't we just not spend the next hour and whatever time? I could do other things. Yeah. If it's dead, 100%. Why are we recording the video?
Right.
Why are you watching? Why?
Ain't that the truth?
How's it going, boys?
It's going well. So I do want to say, I want to thank our viewers for last week coming out and pretty much letting their voices be heard about the terrible scandal that took place on this podcast a couple of weeks ago. I was worried, I think, Mike, you were as well, that we would get inundated with EP bots just really trying to call us out and say, Joe Day's just making stuff up and EP is virtuous and I know the real EP and he's too great to ever do something like this. All right. So I want to thank the viewers and I just want to throw out some comments. I want to, specifically thank some viewers here. Tyler Balowski 7639. The first 10 minutes is the best thing I have ever seen all day today. Busted EP. Thank you, Tyler. On Amazon 6107, Iguana. Great episode. EP is busted. Love it. Thank you on Amazon. John Fry, also Iguana. Thank you for that. I'm just still here to see if EP cheats again. He will. Don't worry.
He will. He absolutely will.
Friend that we met at the card show, the three of us, at Philippines Collector. As someone who's recently received EP's autograph, I can confirm the handwriting matches. There we go. There's some more
proof.
So good. That's a good.
And finally, friend of the channel, someone we all love, at Scott Spalding 2158. I feel so betrayed by EP finding out that he cheated on that list. I am too, Scott. I feel your pain as well. So thank you to all of you who noticed and commented. It's very important that we keep this momentum going so EP does not cheat again. We have to keep our eyes on him at all times. Whenever he's looking down, remember, it's either he's cheating on a list or he's looking at porn during the podcast. Those are the only two possible explanations for that. So EP, if you want to defend yourself, I don't know. It's not even worth it at this point.
Well, I mean, this is the point where I would apologize if I had something to apologize for, but I didn't cheat, so I'm not gonna apologize.
So he's saying I hate all of the viewers.
I completely, I completely deny all the allegations that are brought against me. I'll see you in court, Joe Day.
I've already got Paul Lesko. I've already messaged Paul. He's gonna represent me. In all seriousness, one thing I am going to ask the viewers to do while I have your attention on this is I've been thinking of an idea after talking to our friend Bargain Boxer and the disastrous decision, the regretful disastrous decision he and his wife made him make was selling a LeBron James exquisite rookie card years and years ago. I'm curious if you could comment down below, because I think it'd be an interesting Wednesday show, like for us to like kind of read these regrets and react to them. If you have some major like card regrets, like I sold this too soon, I held on to this and didn't sell it during the boom, things like that, specific ones, comment down below. I misery loves company. We've all made regrets. So comment down below if you have any major hobby regrets you want to get off your chest. We may do them on a Wednesday show here in the future, but I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to look at other people's sadness.
Absolutely. Wow. I agree.
Joe just throwing out content ideas here, like he runs the place or something.
I like I've said before, Mike, you are Mike from Mike's Retro Trading Cards EP.
I am.
And we stumble in sometimes. We're sometimes invited. We had nothing to do with the creation of this at all. It's all you. So I apologize now for doing that. But yeah. If you don't mind, good sir.
I appreciate that, Joe.
Yeah,
yes, I do appreciate it. And Scott Spalding, make sure you comp any cards you buy from him because he's a cheater. You know, he might be overcharging you for cards.
Really good point.
I would just buy from Joe and me.
Yeah.
I would be careful with that. Just saying. Just saying.
That's a good point.
So how's it going, EP? You were at a card show yesterday.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I was at a card show yesterday. I didn't get much sleep.
Saturday.
Saturday. I wasn't like leading up to it. I didn't get a lot of sleep. Going into it, card show, Kevin even said that he was worried about when he saw me when I first walked in, because I got my second
your
wind.
Money though, didn't he?
What's that?
Still took your table fees though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but
he was so worried about you. He still took your table fees.
The table fees were a donation, and they were $20 a table. So yeah, I definitely gave him an extra $20 to pay for the one person that didn't show up. So yeah, no, it was great. It was a great show. It was a fun show. There was a ton of traffic, but I got to spend some time. I bought some cards from some of their dealers that were there and bought some cards from Kevin, and ended up, I think I made a plus $20 after all my donations and everything. I paid $10 for soda at one point. So like, yeah, I mean, it was still worth it. It was some of the most fun I've had at a card show. Mike showed up. It was there. It was just a really good time. I'm just hanging out, talking about cards.
Don't you have something else you want to share with the viewers about Mike being there?
Mike was there, and I can't.
What did Mike buy from you?
I mean, Mike bought a Pokemon card for me, but I still don't know why.
Did,
and I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out exactly what this means. What is it? What do you mean? What's happening?
I bought a Pokemon card from you. Why do you have to question it? Wow,
what is happening right now?
Don't look a gift horse in the face. Is that what the expression?
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's it.
But Mike did deliver a card to me, then refused to take payment for it, which was upsetting because he bought a Pokemon card for me. But it was a gold, 2000 gold, ultra gold medallion Vince Carter card that is freaking awesome.
And I put it in a one touch.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at that.
And I have people on social media really mad at me for giving away that card to you and not that. So I'm just saying.
I mean, I got
payment for guest sharing or guest hosting. No, what's being a guest on this show? It's the payment for that. Right. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
I also
you're just angling to get a card from me. Is all.
Yeah. Apparently, no. I think you gave me this glass, so I can't really complain.
Oh, that's true. You were supposed to pay me, but you didn't. So yeah, I gave it to you.
Shut up, man.
When I showed up, I had a numbered Monty Toomer jersey card on my table, and then later in the show, that was from Kevin, and then later on in the show, BJ comes over and hands me a Tiki Barber jersey card as well that my buddy Rob pulled out of one of the boxes and said, this is an EP card, and BJ brought it right over. And so, yeah, it was a really cool day. Got some cool stuff and talked to a lot of cool people. Spent a lot of time talking to other dealers, which you don't, if it's a busy show, people around you can talk to, but you don't get a chance to really mingle too much if the show is super busy. So it's kind of cool to just talk to everybody out there. And Kevin even says, well, I mean, this could turn into like if it gets too dead, just could turn into like a trade night or something like that between all the dealers. Like, yeah, but I mean, I think it turned out well, and I think they made out really well with as far as donations were concerned. So,
well, speaking of Card Show Kevin, and I have to get this off my chest, he stole my idea for signs for his cards. He bought the same sign holders I had, and he made signs up, but he took my advice and he put Card Show Kevin on him. He branded himself now as Card Show Kevin. And I'm happy about that because it gives me a sense of what my true influence in this hobby really is. That I can go to a show and have signs now. Amazon is probably like, why are we selling so many of these? It's because
was there an affiliate link, Mike? Did you not get an affiliate link for this?
I didn't know we need it. I didn't know the reach that we have, Joe. And
I think he legally changed his name to Card Show Kevin.
I think he did too.
I'm
he
pretty
should
sure.
if he didn't.
Mike, you should like pressure him to change it to like Card Show Carl. Like make him change his actual name. Like see how influential you can really be. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Carl's a horrible name though.
Carl.
No offense if you're watching.
Wow.
Carl.
We just lost 3 viewers named Carl. My goodness gracious.
There aren't 3.
Comment down below if your name's Carl.
Well, one of the cool things that happened at the show, which I mean, this was part of the obviously it was a donation. It was raising money for a woman to her father passed away. Now they're growing a field that is feeding their farm is feeding their family and their community, their town. So it's a really cool thing. And like $38 I think it's like $38 a week or something like that. It pays for all this stuff for them. So just a really cool thing. It's through his he runs the youth group at the church there, and so it's all through that. But during over the course of the show, also Kevin found out that a man with a large collection of cards and books and stuff like that has recently passed away, and Kevin has all the stuff. And at the show, he had all these books set up as donation. You could pay a donation, take a book. And during the course of the conversation, or through the course of the day, he also found out that he's going to now take some of those books. The person who passed away has a house in Cooperstown. He's going to take the books to fill a bookshelf, and he's going to write a letter explaining that these books are, this guy's, and this is the house that he owns. And so he's going to be able to go there. And part of the deal is he's going to have to, the person that he's working with is going to force him to go to the Cooperstown, to the museum, to the Hall of Fame, and then also to stay there overnight and that sort of stuff. So it's just a really cool thing. And he obviously was just kind of an emotional, cool moment to see, and just a really awesome, a really fun time. Like, again, if it was super busy, I would not have witnessed stuff like that at the show. So very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. Not everything has to always be about money and selling stuff. Like it was just cool. Like it was a social gathering where people had cards and were selling cards. But it seemed like a lot of the dealers, even if it wasn't super busy, like everybody seemed happy. They were chit-chatty, and it was nice to be able to actually talk to people. So I know if you're a dealer, but it's not. Like you're saying, you're not spending $1,000 for your table. So yeah, it's a little bit different thing. Joe, I heard you actually went to a card show though this weekend too.
I did.
This never happens.
It never happens. It never happens. A buddy of mine out here in Pittsburgh, he collects. Yeah, I know. I have friends out here in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I have other friends. Sorry, guys.
Buddies? What?
I'm very popular. So. He collects vintage cards of all things. He collects the Pirates team sets from like their World Series. He wants their base card, and he wants an autograph version of their base card, like an in-person autograph version. So he's been putting this really, really cool set together. And we were at a pool party on July 4th. He's like, we were talking about cards. We were the only 2 people, like 100 people at this pool party. We were talking about cards like the entire time, drunk in a pool, by the way, which is the best place to talk about cards. And so he mentioned that he goes to the Pittsburgh Card Show, which is not in Pittsburgh. It's kind of like the Chicago National is and not in Chicago. But picked me up on Saturday, went down. It's like a 45-minute drive from my place, and had a blast. I mean, it was massive. It was massive. Like I think Frank mentioned there were 70 tables. It felt way bigger than that. It was the biggest card show I've been to that's not the National. Like it was really just table after table after table. And there were like, they took over, because this mall is even more dead than the Selinsgrove Mall. They took over like some of like the stores, and there were like the TCG had like basically what would have been like a dead, not as big as a Bon-Ton, but one of those like side stores, like a dead KB Toys or something. And they set up tables in there. And then a couple stores down that was also dead, tables were filled up in there with a mix. And yeah, it was just like, I was like, oh, this is nice. And then he goes, oh no, it keeps going back that way. And then it keeps going back that way. And it was, I was there for like 5 hours and just like walking around. I will say I was very disappointed in the fact that there was almost no non-sports. It was sports and TCG, and that was it. So I was bummed out that there was not even any non-sports wax, because I couldn't find anything to buy. I bought some for our friend Scott, but I couldn't find anything to buy for myself. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just buy a box of something, pay a little bit more at a card show than you could probably get from David Adams, but whatever, something to do. I couldn't even find any good non-wax to buy. It was kind of disappointing that they didn't have that. So, but anyway, it's a massive show. I know they're doing it in Washington, PA, one more show. And then I think after that, it's going to be in the Monroeville Convention Center, which is a pretty nice area too. I will say the problem with no air conditioning in one of those stores was brutal. Like it was bad. And we walked in and it just hit you as soon as you walked in. And the poor dealers in there with just fans blowing on their faces. And you could see like people just dripping sweat. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. This is
just see people retching. That's what you're going to say.
Oh, like it was
retching in the corner.
It was not great. And then you step into like the mall, which was not cold, by the way, but comparatively, it was like, whoa, it's like going into an ice box. But yeah, it was a fun time. Really had a good time with Matt. Matt was like, he bought like $400 or $500 worth of vintage cards. Nice. And he had a blast with it. But yeah, lots of fun. So next time you guys are in Pittsburgh, if it's around that card show, we should definitely try and get there.
I was going to ask that if that's something that we should try to go to. It sounds like something, like you said,
and lots of dollar boxes, EP, lots of $5 boxes. There was people sitting there digging like they would at the Susquehanna Mall show. Yeah, it was a good mix of high-end stuff. Like I didn't send you guys this picture, but it was a booklet card, on card, Ken Griffey Jr., Bo Jackson with jersey. Like it was just such a cool, like, but that's the level of cards it got up to. But then there were also dollar boxes. It was a fun show.
Very cool.
I missed the East Coast National this past weekend too. That was this past weekend in Plains, New York. So I think I want to go to like a non-national show. Philly has the show. I might go to Philly sometime.
We want to go. Well, I'm pushing you guys to see if we can all make it to the non-sports card show in Philly that's taking place in October. Our friend Troy DeFish, it goes every year. Twice a year, actually, I believe it is. So yeah, we should try and make it down to that. I'm curious. I mean, non-sports, he said it's a pretty big show. That would be an interesting one to walk around and meander in.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And you can carry the camera and we'll vlog it for everybody.
No,
we'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll have Mike Jones carry the camera, something like that. Okay. One of the off-camera people that join us sometimes.
One of the 40 that we have on the payroll. Yeah. I know. I feel like we only need 35, but you guys wanted the extra 5. So
we needed security.
Yeah, we do. Yes. All right, let's get into it. There we go.
Do a graphic, Mike. We need a let's get into a graphic.
So a little while back, we heard a little story about a Topps was going to be making cards using the actual lottery ping pong balls that they use for the MLB draft lottery. And we mused at the time how they're going to do that, what's going to look like. They're going to cut them in half into smaller pieces and what. Well, they released the mock-up of the card this week. And let's just say it kind of looks like Saturn with square rings. They are using the whole ball lodged into the middle of a card. Now, I'm all for innovation. I like that they're trying things. My own personal feeling is I don't think it really works. I think it looks really dumb. And I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with this card if you get it. Like, it is literally like this big. I don't know. It's probably about
not to scale. It's the
not to scale. It reminds me of this, Pacific put cubes and what could you do with this? Nobody liked them. Now, these are obviously going to be way more valuable than a Pacific cube is. They're one-of-ones, they're autographed, but I don't know. There are a lot of people, reactions to it are, what are you supposed to do with this? And I think that's the main problem. I do appreciate that they're doing something completely different, but I really don't know what you're supposed to do with the card.
Two points for me on this one. One, for the first time ever, I will say, Fanatics bastardized this, cut it in half, and make 2 1-of-1s. Like for the first time ever, Fanatics is doing the thing that we want them to do with other stuff, like the debut patches. Let's not bastardize that and let's not have multiple 1-of-1s. Let's not do this. Do it with this. Do it with this. This is the one thing where I would be totally okay if you cut the ball in the middle and made out either 2 1-of-1s or a 2 of 2, something like that. That would make sense. My other point is, to your point, Mike, about the value, I am what you would call kind of a supply whore. I love supplies. I love protecting my cards to no end. And I buy supplies just to even test them to see if they will be better to protect my card. There are top loader cards that I have from Rittenhouse, like the incentive cards come in a sealed top loader. A lot of collectors prefer to keep them sealed in the top loader. Some of them take them out, put them in one touches, whatever. I like to keep them in that top loader. The problem is that top loader is not UV protected. You don't want it to jack with the autographs. So I'm like, well, I want to put them in slab mags. And I'm like, well, I can't just put it in a slab mag. I want some sort of like case around the slab mag so that it sits in there nicely. And I had a 3D printer design top load holders for slab mags. And I mean, but why not?
Of course she did.
Of course. And I'll tell you what, if there are people out there with sealed top loader cards that want to display them, I guarantee you, as soon as they heard me say that, they're like, that's a phenomenal idea.
Why are we not selling these?
That's true.
Let's brand them and sell them.
We could brand them and sell them. But to my point is, I want my cards to be protected in any way, shape, or form possible. There is no way to protect these cards. There's no case. Now, if Topps did what the Pacific did with Kramer's Choice and created cases for these, that would be kind of cool. Like if they had a case where maybe it's a redemption card, they have to be redemption cards. Obviously, they can't put these in packs, right? So send the redemption card in and you can get a case for it, or it comes encased somehow. Like it'll be interesting to see how Topps ships these, I guess is my point, because again, they have to be redemption cards. They can't be in packs.
Could you imagine somebody doing a break? It's like, oh, there's something in this one.
I wonder what this could be. As he's bouncing it off the table.
Yeah, my initial reaction to this, Mike, I when you posted this, Mike, I was like, I'm gonna withhold all my comments for the show. Like, they don't make a top loader for that. That's the bottom line where I'm at. They don't make a top loader for that. Like, and so I am completely out. I don't like booklets. I've said this before. I don't like super thick cards. I like the regular standard.
And they make supplies for booklets. They make top loaders and one touches for.
Yeah, but they also don't fit in my card boxes though. So like that's how I kind of look at it. Like even slabs, you have to buy a special boxes to be able to fit the PSA slabs and SGC slabs, whatever slab you have. So this is not going to fit any of that kind of stuff. They're going to put in like the plastic team set things, like they're going to have to, and then put like some styrofoam or something in there to keep it from moving around too much. But then once you get it, like, what do you do with it? Like you both were saying, like, what are you supposed to do? How can you display it except just raw, right?
Or store it. Yeah. Not even just display.
Right.
storing
And
it.
yeah, and I agree 100%, Joe. My take was cut it in half, make it a 2 1-of-1s or a 1 of 2 and a 2 of 2. That would have been the intelligent thing to do. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but they should not be allowed to be providing ideas. Listen, all ideas valid, but somebody should not have greenlit this one.
The drunk guy from Pacific in the 90s now works for Fanatics. Like, I got an idea, guys. Let's just have the whole ball.
You missed one question there, though. Not how the store. How am I going to grade it? That's the question.
I was thinking about it.
People
PSA
grade
built-in bubble.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Nat Turner had to be like, like it. What do you do? How do you grade it? How do you grade it? Somebody at PSA is gonna be like, I don't get paid enough money to try to figure out if this is a 9 or 10. I don't. So
like you'd have to put it in like a Funko Pop grading thing or something. Like I don't know. I have no idea.
That's the problem. Like, how do you stabilize it though? Because it has a gigantic ball in the middle around the card, but you want to see the ball, so you can't really put like holders there to hold the ball in place, or you won't be able to see. I don't know how you do it.
Maybe the first time they won't grade something. Holy shit. Maybe they won't grade something, Mike. Wouldn't that be wild?
This is the beginning of the downfall. They don't like the PSA has been out fanaticsing them on everything they've done, everything Michael Rubin wanted to do. So they're like, I know. Let's start designing cards that they can't grade, and then people will stop grading, and then we can take over the world.
Yeah.
If I got one of these, I would 100% send it in just for this reason, just because.
How would you send it? I don't know. Wow. Try to fit that in a soft sleeve and a semi-rigid.
Right.
I just like the condition of this card, unless again they make something special for it. It's such a niche card though. Like it's not like Ultra Pro is going to be like, all right, this is how I'm going to figure out how to make these cases. Well, how many are you selling of that? Like how many balls are there in every set every year? Like you're going to sell like 25 of them or whatever every year, and that's it. Like no company is going to do that. So what
Fanatics
in the world
has to do it. They have to come up with something and encase it in that. That would really
and ship it. That is the only thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that, but I would assume that they would have to come up with something to put it in. So
I feel like literally every collector that saw that card were like, how the heck are we going to put a sleeve and top loader in that? Like, how are you going to store that? Like every single collector, they should have addressed that by now for sure.
Yeah, I'd be so worried about like breaking the ping pong ball in it.
Or popping out of the card. I mean, that's not unrealistic
possible.
Thing too, especially the first year, things aren't going to go perfect, right? So that's crazy.
We're going to be seeing like ping pong ball-less 1-of-1 versions of this card on eBay because people like got them and they broke them.
How is Kurt Card Care going to fix these cards? I need the tutorial on Kurt's Card Care wiping on the ping pong ball. Oh no, they wiped the number off. Oh no.
I just imagined this card, but like most of the cards, the cardboard being as thick as the ball. It'd be the thickest like card ever.
That would
have been great.
It'd be better,
that would be better because you could actually put that in one of those slider boxes and it wouldn't be as bad. These aren't autographed, are they, Mike?
Yeah, they are.
They are autographed.
Mm-hmm.
Are they on? It'd be cool if they autographed the ball. Are they autographing the ping pong ball?
No, it's on the card.
I don't know. I think it would have been cooler if they autographed the ping pong ball.
I agree.
But
should have done both.
Yeah. Or maybe take it to a show and have the person who autographed the card now autograph the ping pong ball.
There you go. Oh, and other Topps product news, there was a photo that leaked this week showing a new set called Topps Eternity, which looks an awful lot like a flawless National Treasure.
Sounds cheap. Sounds reasonably priced.
Super cheap. Like EP probably be picking up for $100 a box. But a picture was released of a dual autograph 1-of-1 card that will be in the product with autographs of LeBron James and Tom Brady. Clearly, this will probably be out after they get the NFL license because Tom Brady had Patriots logo on the sleeve and on the helmet. Yes, they were actually licensed. There was Lakers on LeBron. I mean, we're not surprised. They have to come out with products to replace the products that people loved from Panini. Like, it's a huge breaking product, flawless and national treasure. So they're going to have stuff like this. And I have to say, it looked like a beautiful freaking card. So maybe I'll get in some breaks.
Nope.
Buy some boxes for the channel to do a rip. What? EP, you're in, right?
Negative. I don't like flawless as it is, so I'm not like that's not my jam. I don't like that.
Let them know in the comments
SP.
if you want us to break a box of Topps Eternity when it comes out.
Yeah, our viewers are totally in on that.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
they're not in on it, but they'd love to be in on watching us.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike got
crying.
Mike got called out by Bargain for his 2 expensive cards on 3 cards the last couple of weeks. So I don't think they want us to break this product.
Look at that.
I mean, it is beautiful.
Names on the sign right there.
Oh my God. How many times has he said that
This
today?
name and this
I have to start our own channel or something, EP. We're not getting any love here. We'd have to do all the work though. We'd have to do all the editing, and no one wants to do that.
So is this like a Topps Fusion thing? Is this a baseball product? Is it a football product? A basketball product? Like, what is it?
Nobody knows.
All right.
I mean,
Okay.
they put random stuff in, like, was it Topps Dynasty has done this in the past, and Panini has definitely done this in the past, where they have like cut autos of presidents in the baseball product for random reasons, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this is just.
But have they done any where they have 2 different sports licenses in the same product?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know Upper
like
Deck back in the early 2000s had some cards that had both like players from different sports on it, but I don't know. Like,
could be
maybe
they could be making a football version of this product and a basketball version, and that card maybe is in both of them. You know what I mean?
Possible, but this feels to me like this is a baseball set with a 1-of-1 of Brady and LeBron.
A baseball set?
A baseball set with a 1-of-1, like one of those, like it's just a weird 1-of-1. That's what it feels like to me. So I could be. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just saying I could totally see them doing that because
I don't
getting that license. So
if this was an unlicensed auto EP, I'd agree with you 100%. I'd say yes, they're putting it in just like they had Brady autographs in Topps Chrome a couple of years ago now at this point, or Bowman Chrome or whatever it was. I would agree with you, but if they have the licenses, I think it will go into one of the licensed basketball or football products, or like Mike said, or some sort of fusion, like a high-end classic 4 sport, if you will.
Maybe it is the next iteration of Mercury. Maybe Eternity is like the GOAT, say, have LeBron James and Tom Brady both in one set, maybe.
But one of them wouldn't be a GOAT, Mike. I believe you're going to say that in a couple of weeks. One of them, because Jordan's the GOAT of basketball. I'm seeing into the future, and I think you might mention that Jordan is the GOAT, and
Jordan is the GOAT, but
they don't have access.
They don't have him under contract, so he's not their GOAT. Clearly,
right.
Not yet.
Okay, assuming this is a box of something you can buy, what's your guess on the release price of it?
If it is like a Mercury type product,
just whatever you think it's going to be, what is it going to cost?
I'm going to say $10,000 for a box. If Mercury was 8, and I agree with it. As soon as you said it could be the next iteration of Mercury, I think you're probably onto something. And if that's the case, I think if Mercury with just pretty much Wemby stuff went for 8,000, it's hard to not think this would go for 10,000.
When you first said that it was a flawless type product, I thought, it's probably $4,000 a box. Then we started talking more about it. Then you said the name Eternity, and I was like, oh God, this is so ridiculous. $8,000, but I wouldn't. My guess was going to be 8,000, but I think Joe's more right. So I'd like to, if we were playing the game, I think 10,001. because it's probably I wouldn't be surprised if it was more.
Comment down below about EP cheating again, please.
I'm not cheating. I said 8,000 was my answer. So
I'm gonna go with 15.
Oh,
jeez.
Okay. I never thought I'd be the low end. Why do I have to go first? Wait, I'll go 15 and 1.
There we go. All right. Well, maybe the people that buy this box will sell the cards on eBay. And if they do, and they have a successful sale, and the person that bought it from them didn't leave them feedback, they'll automatically get feedback because eBay announced a couple changes this week. They are now automatically going to be leaving feedback for sellers. Anything that was shipped, tracked, and delivered to the buyer, and there were no issues reported, they're now automatically going to leave positive feedback for the seller. Good job on this. I would probably be like 5 times what my number is right now if I had that happen. So that's a great change. Also, do you want to talk? Let's just talk about this one first before I get into the second change.
Can we retro this?
I know. Can this go back to the very beginning of eBay?
It would break the feedback system. It would break the feedback system.
It would break the internet. I actually had a situation where I had a buyer buy multiple cards from me, multiple different occasions. They bought a card, shipped it, delivered. A couple weeks later, I'm like, that name sounds familiar. Oh, they bought something else from me before. Bought it, shipped it to them, delivered, no problem. A couple weeks later, did like 4 or 5 cards, no feedback. I'm like, you clearly were happy with the transaction. Why wouldn't you leave feedback? It was absolutely ridiculous. And I was like, what the? And I leave feedback as a seller like that. If someone buys, as soon as my process is, I pack it up. And
well, they have automatic for the seller to leave for the buyer.
Do they? I don't have it turned on if that's the case, if that's an on thing. But I do it as soon as I ship it and put the label on. I make sure everything matches. I hit leave feedback. It's kind of my process. But like I get so infuriated when people don't leave feedback for the seller when they, everything got there.
Well, it looks like somebody doesn't leave feedback when they buy stuff.
What are we talking about? I don't always leave it. I'm sorry. I'm guilty. I am. It's horrible. I'm horrible.
Oh no, Michael, come on now. I am a feedback leaver. I am a perpetual feedback leaver. I make sure I always leave feedback, no matter. I was going to say no matter what, if the transaction went smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Mike, that was a great segue. I'll make you feel a little better. It was a great segue. Good job getting us from the last story to the story. Thank you for that. I love this, the feedback thing. I love it. I usually do my feedback. I leave for people that when I buy stuff, I do that in like batches. Like I'll do a handful. So occasionally I will miss sending them out, but typically I'm pretty good about making sure I send them all out. I stopped leaving feedback right away as a seller because I found that if I waited until it was delivered, and then I sent the feedback, it'd be more likely that they would give me feedback as well. So that's my process for that. I'll go back and I'll check and see, okay, well, this was delivered, and I'll leave feedback for all those people.
And it may prompt them to then leave
right. Kind of, so that's right. I should probably leave feedback for them too. And that's my hope anyway. It doesn't, it does not work 100%, not even close. But I found that at least in my head, it makes me feel better about doing it that way, that maybe possibly a couple more people might leave feedback for me if I do that. Apparently that might not be Mike though.
Everybody who buys from me gets feedback. It's just not always people I buy from. They need to give me one button where I can just click it and everybody gets feedback. Like, make it a little more difficult than it needs to be.
That's how much Mike buys, by the way. That's just a pull.
I buy a lot. I do. So it becomes a little more difficult for me. And yeah, if you're not thinking about it, and then all of a sudden you have like 40 different things.
Isn't one of the weirdest things too when like, I don't have anywhere near as much feedback as Mike, and probably not as much as EP. I have like 1,100 or something.
I think you and I are close. I thought you and I were pretty close.
Are we close? But I'll notice if it goes up, like, and I'll click on it just to see what it was, and it'll be like something I sold like 6 months ago. I'm like, that's weird. That is so random that they left me feedback today. Yeah,
I usually get around to it, but sometimes it takes a while. But then when it starts building, it gets really tough. But that is not the only change that they're making. This one is really kind of interesting. They're doing something called offers in messages. So now if you're selling something, Joe, and I want to send you an offer, I can send you an official offer through messages. I can send you an offer for it. You can accept it or decline it or counter offer right in the messages. So you could talk about it and officially send, like, if I send you the offer, you'll get like the screen that gives you the accept or counter or decline option in there. And it can all be done through messages now. So I don't know the parameters of this. Like, if you have to have it, I'm assuming you probably have to have best offer set on your listing for that to work, because people would be inundated with offers that they don't want. But it seems like a kind of a way to make it more like an in-person negotiation with using it on eBay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will be a pain in the butt. I don't know, but it seems like, yeah, we laugh when I say the word "but." You know, when we try not to swear, we laugh. I heard you chuckle when I said "but." But yeah, back to the point. It could be a little bit of a pain, or I think it feels like a good thing.
I love it. I do. So I'm actually, before we started recording, I said, "Oh, let me send this real quick before we start." And I was actually going back and forth on negotiating on a card with someone through Messenger that they sent me an offer, and I messaged them through clicking on their name and then hitting contact. And I messaged them, to go back and forth, because it's one of those offers where it's like kind of close, but like I want to work it out a little bit more in person than just, because if you send either decline or a counter, they can just let it go. Like they can just back like Homer into the shrubs, right? Like you with the feedback thing, Mike, So, I don't want to potentially, because I'm kind of wrapping my mind around, maybe I would sell it for that amount. I don't want to potentially lose that sale. So I actually like the interaction like that quite a bit. So in my opinion, another good thing that eBay's doing, we talk about this a lot, that we feel like eBay kind of was stagnant for a little while. They don't put anything new on there. They don't put any new features on their page. And, but when they do, luckily these last two anyway have been pretty good.
I like this as well. I hope the send offers button doesn't just go away. Like, I still would like to have that option. I'd like to know, you can send offers on these 7 items or whatever it is. I would like for that to stay. But in the same respect, whenever I'm sending an offer or receive an offer, there's never any comments. And I feel like this is going to, for eBay anyway, it's going to lead to more transactions. I think people are going to have conversations about these things, and maybe, it seems weird, but if you have like $100 card, somebody offers like 75, I really would like to get 80, but 80 feels like this, small amount compared to the 75. But I think if you're having this conversation with somebody through Messenger, as opposed to just the offer system, this dead like robot back and forth, if there's actually a conversation going on, like, okay, yeah, I'll do 80 instead of 75. I think that could lead to a lot more transactions and less people just saying, no, I don't want to do it, and turning and clicking it off, kind of thing.
It'll be interesting to see how their messengers go, because there are times where you will message someone and it is the most let's get off eBay and do this message ever. It's like, I saw this sell at a card show for $100, let's say. And so I'd like to be around there, but like saying something like card show gets flagged, or saying, maybe I can, let me take the night to think about this. I've actually had messages like that innocuous get flagged. Like, whoa, what are you like? There's not flagged to the point where they kick me off eBay, but, you should reword this because it might look like you are trying to contact someone off eBay. I've gotten quite a few of those where it's literally like, I saw this at a card show, or a buddy of mine's interested in this card for this amount. Would you?
Do you think they do that because you do try to get off of eBay?
It's possible.
They have you like blacklisted or
flagged.
Something.
Yeah,
like, we're watching him.
Maybe that's possible. I mean, I do try and get off eBay every now.
I know.
Yeah. Helps. It's helped my collection. I will say that.
Yeah, that's definitely not my game. I won't do stuff off eBay at all. So.
At all? Like
No.
at a card show? You wouldn't sell stuff at a card show or anything?
I don't take an eBay sale and take it off eBay.
Joe does.
Yeah. I do. Hey, knock on wood, I've never been burned. Knock on wood, never been burned with it.
I wonder if them having the send offer option in the messages is gonna kind of negate that kind of, because like if people are sending offers back and forth to each other while they're conversing, I think it's going to be a little bit different. They're going to be a little more lenient with the wording in that, possibly.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I would guess not.
All right. Well, shifting gears quite a bit here. Joe, you had messaged us about something, and we'll get to this here, but this is a really good thing. We like to come up with some other things we like to talk about here, issues in the hobby that you don't hear a lot of other content creators talking about, but I think they're things that are important to at least have a discussion about, to make people a little more aware about, make people think about. We all, we consume sports card content. You're doing it right now. There aren't any.
I thought it was dead. Wait, I thought it was dead. Is it not dead?
We're not allowed to talk about that, Joe. But a lot of the content, especially in the shorts and stuff, you see, kids with huge card collections or selling huge cards to a dealer or buying a huge card from a dealer, and it really does make you think that every single kid walking around nowadays has a case full of slabs. They have a $1 million collection in there. And the reality of that might be a little bit different than what is portrayed on social media. Go figure. Social media might be showing, one part of something, but the discussion we want to have is social media setting unreal expectations for other kids. Not everybody is rich. We're not rich. Joe's rich, but I think he's teetering toward all close. The way. Yeah, but you see kids watching. We get FOMO watching stuff and seeing things. You watch a box being broken and they get something good, and you're like, oh, maybe I should spend $600 for marble Topps Chrome. No, you shouldn't. But for kids who their brains aren't fully developed, they don't, they're very easily influenced. Watching card content of all these other kids with the big cards really kind of gives them a sense that, I'm not doing this right because these kids, look at that, they have this card. We don't really know why the kids have cards, though. There's probably an assumption that can be made that maybe their parents possibly well off and maybe help them. I'm not saying but the discussion is social media and the impact it has on kids and collecting, making them think they have to do this because they see videos of kids with expensive cards, and a little bit of a concern that we have, and I think more people in the hobby should have, about those kids that want to get in the hobby and then feel like, well, I can't do this like all these other kids do, when really all those other kids is a small percentage of it. And Joe, I'll throw it to you because you're the one that posed this to us in the chat, and there's a specific reason you did.
Yeah, so I do want to say up front, before the Ty Wilson chasing cardboard bots come after me, I love chasing cardboard. I love it. It is appointment viewing for me every single time they post a video. Absolutely love it. I'm an American Pickers guy. So American Pickers with cards, love it. Always have. Was one of the first subscribers to that channel. So before you complain to me in the comments, I just wanted to throw that out there. So I'm not subscribed to Ty Wilson's channel, though, because he does a lot of eBay. Like, this is how you can sell better on eBay. It's fine content, just not for me. So I've never subscribed to it. But the algo got me, and he posted some national content, which I was watching, the last couple of weeks. And I threw up this video that he had posted about one of the trade nights at the national, and he had some other national content. Put it up as like background noise. I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm sorting cards or I'm packing some stuff up, so I'm not really paying full attention to it. But at one point, my ears perked up a little bit. So apparently at the National, eBay had put out QR codes all over the floor as kind of a scavenger hunt for kids to take their phones, scan these QR codes. Now, I don't know if they just had to scan the QR code and that was what counted as part of the scavenger hunt, or if the QR code prompted them to like go find a Tom Brady rookie and take a picture.
I think they had just hidden those things around in different places, because I saw something that was leaning up against one of the walls and people walking past it until somebody finally found it.
Okay.
So I think
it was like a Pokemon Go situation or whatever. You're scanning these QR codes. So a little scavenger hunt for kids, something to keep them busy, I'm guessing, while their parents are at tables making deals or whatever. And so I'm watching this content, and his kids, he had brought his kids and his cameraman's kids. So there were 3 or 4 of them. And they came in first, second, and fourth in this thing. Now, again, I don't know enough about the information about whether or not eBay had done contests multiple times throughout the day, had done it every day. You know, they were only there for one day. So, it leads me to believe that eBay had a ton of these running, and you just kind of got put into a group, and then you would go up and get your prize. Again, if someone knows more information than that, please let us know. So his kids came in like first and second. They go up and they get their prize from eBay. Again, this is a scavenger hunt for kids. For kids. The cards, the prize they got were cards from 2022 National Treasures. They were the metal cards that came in. They were something different. I know it was 2022 because I watch a lot of content from 2022 because of Kenny Pickett rookie cards. And they were metal cards, and there were 3 types of cards. There was the base, there was the silver, which had a little drop of silver in it, and then there was a gold that had a little drop of gold in it. The prizes for first and second place were a Jason Tatum National Treasures metal card. EP, he's a basketball player, and Joe Burrow. And
wait, who's Joe Burrow?
He is a football player. I'm sorry, we're in the middle of a fantasy football draft, so I figured you knew him. But anyway, so those were the prizes. They gave the prizes to the kids. What do you guys think the first thing the kids did when they got those cards were?
Went and sold them.
Looked up before you can sell them. When you guys you gotta look up the price. They can't be happy with this cool looking card as a prize. First thing they have to do is look up the price. They went over to Ty. They got on Market Movers or Card Ladder or whatever. Looked up the price. They were only worth $50 to $75 each. Game for kids, 50 to. Now we can have a discussion whether eBay should have done more, but again, I don't know what their giveaway situation was beyond that. I don't know how many of these games they were running, but they got a $75 card. Ty Wilson's response was so, I want to say disgusting, was so insensitive, was so tone deaf, was so indignant that they worked, quote unquote, worked for 8 hours and only got these $50 to $75 cards for working. So it got to the point
there's
where
a scavenger hunt, right?
It's for free.
Yeah, for free for kids. EP, you even told us last year at the National, you had more fun than the previous year because you created your own scavenger hunt. And you went around and did that. Could you imagine at the end of it, someone said, "Oh, here's a $75 card of a famous football player or a great football player. Like, here you go." Like, so I generally don't comment on videos, but I had to comment.
Oh boy, here we go.
Joe got his pen out.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah. So I said, I really like Ty, and chasing cardboard is appointment television for me, but the complaining about the kids' prize from eBay kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. That is the nicest negative comment Joe Day has ever left anywhere. He responds, "All good, can't please you all the time," smiley face, which whatever. And then he said, "Appreciate the watch." Now, I want to translate something for the people watching. If you leave a negative or even somewhat negative comment on someone's content that they post, if they say "thanks for watching" or "appreciate the watch," I'll translate for you. That is go fuck yourself. Okay, I just want you to know that. I responded, "Just remember, a lot of kids in the hobby would love to, quote, work for a $50 card. I know I would have, but I grew up trailer park poor." I said, "trailer park poor." I said, appreciate the content. So that got me thinking about this topic, because you've got these kids who are influencers, children of influencers in these influencer videos. And if you are a kid of that age, you're watching these and you're thinking, well, that's how I have to be in this hobby. I can't be any other way. And it reminded me of when Instagram and those type of social media platforms were coming to the forefront, and you had primarily young girls watching that content, and it was giving them body image issues. It was rates went up. Like, it was scary and dangerous how that can be. You have these kids now watching content like this thinking, I have to be a certain way, or I can't be in this hobby. And it just leads to this dangerous, unrealistic expectation that this content is putting out there for kids. And I don't know, is that crazy? Is my thesis just a little too off the wall here? I don't know. It didn't sit right with me.
No, I mean, I wrote down the words I wrote down when Mike was talking about this topic, that I wanted to make sure that I used: social media, unrealistic expectations. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I was in leadership Susquehanna Valley, which is a leadership thing for several months a couple years ago. And during one of our exercises or whatever, one of the questions was, what do you think about do you think social media is good? And it was kind of the question. And I answered yes. I think social media on its surface is amazing. As humans conversing, sharing conversations, sharing information, that is what separates us, right? I mean, that's what separates us from the animals. And social media allows you to do that at light speed. And I think it's amazing in that regard. But what happens is it gets twisted. And like Joe said, Instagram, that sort of stuff, that was terrible. And then this situation with these things, we've talked a million times about people opening up, oh, this is the last blaster I got from Walmart, and they pull out like a $2,000 card out of it. It was probably the 100th blaster they bought that day, driving to 20 different Walmarts, right? Like that's what happens on social media. That's what you see. And so when you see these kids walking around with these Zion cases, like, your mom and dad bought you that Zion case, your mom and dad probably gave you $1,000 to start your collection. I would love to find out how many of these kids started with a $1 box, showed up with a $50 box at a card show or something like that, and built their money up that way, as opposed to just being handed an amount of money. Because the Zion cases are not cheap to begin with.
Just
and
the case by themselves.
The case by itself is not cheap. Like, I feel like, and I realize there are probably some kids that have done it, but I think for the most part, and especially a lot of ones you see on social media, who may be the children of influencers, that I feel like they are getting a boost. Their hobby is getting a pretty big boost from mom and dad.
Here's the issue. We already have people like, Jeff Wilson. He's the biggest, most well-known content creator in the space. You have a lot of people that watch his videos and are influenced to buy what they buy, and have been for years, by what his videos say. And I feel like now you have a lot of the big content creators that are sharing content with their kids and creating content based around their kids. And they do need to maybe step back and think that, if I'm influencing, like say in Jeff's case, if I'm influencing a grown adult to buy a card, that's one thing. But now if I'm doing videos with my kids and he's influencing other kids, again, your frontal lobe isn't fully formed until you're like in your early 20s. Their decision making and ability to understand things, and maybe things, this isn't going to happen for everybody, not every card I buy is going to go up, isn't there. So I think there's a little more of a responsibility that falls on the parents of the children that they're creating content around. Just not saying they shouldn't do it. They absolutely, it's a good thing for the hobby to have kids in it and stuff too. But at the same time, you don't want the kids to see these kids and think, I have to be exactly like them. And it's a very fine line there. Like, they need to be more careful to make sure that they're not, doing their kids' content videos to influence kids the same way their content videos are influencing adults, if that makes sense at all.
It makes 100% sense, because to that point about Jeff Wilson and putting his kids in his content, which is, again, is great. I think his kid seems really knowledgeable about cards. Like, the issue though is when his kid, who's definitely under 18, I think he's under 16, is like talking about buying and selling a 5-figure Trevor Lawrence card at the National. That to me is dangerous, because you are marketing to children. You have your child has his own channel and he's on your channel. You're not just marketing, like you said, Mike, to 30, 40, 50-year-old. You're marketing to under the age of 20-year-olds and likely under the age of 15-year-olds. And, the same thing. I finished watching the rest of the Ty Wilson's video, and they were going to trade night. And he said, okay, what are you guys going to try and trade for? And his son, and I don't think this was a throwaway line. I think he legitimately was saying he was trying to trade for a Steph Curry RPA. Like,
wow,
that's not a cheap card. And he was like, oh, listen to these kids. And he even made a joke about their expectations. I'm like, 5 minutes later, you complained that they only got a $50 card for playing a game. Here you're like, look at them. They're really going after it. I'm like, what is happening right now? And his kids don't make content. They are in his videos. So it's a little bit different than Jeff Wilson's. But even like Roth cards, he interacts with kids all the time in his videos. And all the time, these kids come up again with these Zion cases. And I don't want to take any, I don't want to, not give credit where it's properly due, but I'm pretty sure it was Bargain who had mentioned, the hobby, these kids in the hobby are real, but they're gated community kids. These are kids that are growing up in a way different world than I know the three of us did. And like, it can get to the point where it's either going to turn kids completely off to this hobby if they realize I can't keep up with these influencers, and it might, if they decide to stay in the hobby, it might give them like those unrealistic expectations and then lead to depression that their cards are not stacking up to these kids that they're seeing on social media. And we joke about, I'm semi-affluent, right? We joke about that. I could add, these are all my valuable cards right here. I throw them into one Zion case. I could put them up against a 14-year-old kid walking around the card show, and it would blow these away. Like with a handful of cards, like that is not realistic. That is not real world. And I think that's the issue that we have to think about is how realistic do we want this content to be so it doesn't fuck with kids' heads, that they're not able to do what these kids on social media and YouTube are doing. And again, that it's fake, but they don't know that. Just like using a filter back in the early days of Instagram. They don't know that the 17, 18-year-old girls are using a filter to make themselves look prettier and thinner. They just, in their minds, their undeveloped minds at the time are thinking, oh, what do I need to do to get that thin? Instagram led to a lot of eating disorders if people don't remember that. Like, it wasn't great at the time. So, and I think that's what we're getting at right now. Ty Wilson, by the way, did send his cameraman to complain to eBay, in case you were curious. Yeah.
Real issue, real world. Like you said, the bottom line is I think most of the kids that were at the National, if they ended up winning a $50 to $75 card for doing the scavenger hunt, they're probably happy about it. Right? Like that's a decent sized card for most people. Not the kids that are carrying around the Zion cases, but for most kids, especially if they're just starting in the hobby, like that's a significant card. Like that's not like a $3 Saquon Barkley or a $5 Saquon Barkley. That's a $50, $75 card. And so when your YouTube channel, when you on your YouTube channel saying that this is what you're underwhelmed by this card, it doesn't reflect what I would think would be most of the hobby, that generation of the hobby. I think would be happy to get a $50 to $75 card.
It's bad enough if you're going to go to complain to eBay, but you don't even do it yourself. You send your cameraman.
Wow.
He went from a regular like the someone camera like taking video of him to his cell phone view, and he said, "Oh yeah, Matt went over and he's going to talk to eBay about this." About what? That they gave your kids
about the free card,
$50 free,
and they
card?
were probably giving away a lot of cards.
A lot.
Yeah,
like there's no way it was. Those were the only 3 or 2 or 3 that they gave out. And unrelated, I'm sure, just a couple of days ago, Ty Wilson put out a video, eBay's biggest problem and why sellers are leaving. I'm sure that had nothing to do with his issue with eBay giving his kids crappy cards in his mind. But just, I don't know. That was so tone deaf to me. He was so indignant. It really did turn me off to the point where I was like, should I just unsubscribe to Chasing Cardboard? Like, I was so annoyed by that and by his response. But again, the greater picture here is he is part of that problem, having his kids on his channel and talking about Steph Curry RPAs versus maybe just his kids are not the norm. And that's what I think people watching that content need to realize. Yeah. If you're a 14, 15-year-old, you're definitely not watching our channel, by the way. But if you're a 14, 15-year-old and you're watching that content, you might think that's the norm. And he is all about, same thing with Jeff Wilson. It's PG it's G to PG content, right? And it is all about what you can get in the hobby, and it's wholesome and this and that. Sure, you may portray it that way, but what you might be doing with kids' expectations of the hobby is anything but wholesome, in my opinion.
And they're not clicking the content not for kids box like I do when I upload the video. There is actually something there, and I always say that ours is not made for kids because it's not.
Which, by the way, you do that because we do swear a lot. You know, we tend to swear. We tend to make jokes. And I would say that is, and we drink, right? I tend to say that is less harmful for kids than giving children unrealistic expectations of the hobby and the money they should and shouldn't be able to afford to be in this hobby. I think this is way more wholesome in the long run than that.
Wholesome.
I agree.
Okay, if I had to pick wholesome for one of them, I'd rather it be us.
No, but yeah, and we do not use filters to make ourselves look this pretty. We're just natural.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there because you were talking about filters, and I want people to know we aren't using them. We are not using them.
Nope. All natural.
All right, let's throw one more little thing out here. I thought this was amazing. I'll just throw this out. Give you a guess. Who do you think? What player? Just one.
Eyes
player.
Up here, EP. Eyes up here.
What player do you think had the most dollar value in sales on eBay for 2025 so far?
Say it, EP. You know you want to. Say
Ohtani?
it.
Incorrect.
I thought he was going to say Caitlin Clark. Jaden Daniels.
No, it is actually the old guy, the GOAT, Michael Jordan.
Wow.
There has been $34 million in sales of Michael Jordan cards so far in 2025. Shohei Ohtani is second. He is $14 million behind at $20 million. So the fact that here we are all these years later and Michael Jordan is still the king of this hobby in terms of dollar volume of sales, like I saw that and it just kind of blew my mind. Maybe not so much. Like he's super popular. If you go on eBay at any point of the day and type in Michael Jordan and click on ending soonest, you're going to have a bunch of cards like ending in a couple seconds. And he's the only player I've ever searched that I saw you can do that for and have them ending right away. But 34 million compared to 20 for second place just really kind of blew my mind.
Did you have beyond second place on your list, Mike, or did you just have?
I believe Jaden Daniels. There are a bunch of them that were kind of close. I believe Jaden Daniels was third, and Mickey Mantle I think was fifth or eighth, something. He was up there. Like there are a bunch of them after Jordan that are fairly close, but Mickey Mantle was still on there too, which is very impressive.
Well, and a lot of that, I think Jordan's an interesting case because with Mantle, it's like I'm guessing there's a bunch of like high end, like it's not strictly high end.
And there's only so many cards.
There's only so many cards. Where Jordan, he runs the gambit, man. He's got those star rookies. He's got some exquisite autographs and some, logo men, but he's also got 90s inserts, and he's also got 90s base cards that people are selling left and right that are, $2, $3, $4. So you've got this range with him, which makes it really interesting. But I kind of feel dumb not saying Jordan, because I have been watching national content, and Jordan was the guy. I mean, it makes sense. They're in Chicago. But Jordan was the guy that a lot of people were looking to buy, dealers were selling them at high prices, again, the Chicago tax, I guess, that they're giving it. But yeah, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense to Jordan.
Yeah, and he's probably also one of the most graded people. And I have proof positive that, like, I had that Encore insert card, like just random Encore insert card I sold for $1,000 because it was a PSA 10. I think he probably has a lot of those kinds of cards where just a random insert from the 90s, they get it graded. If they happen to get a 10, like it's gonna boost up those prices quite a bit. Like, I mean, on top of the volume of cards that are probably selling, they're also like Joe said, some super high end and a lot of like mid end cards, I'm guessing too.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's hard to find a Michael Jordan insert that isn't graded. I assume if I find one that isn't, that it probably was, and it didn't get a good grade and they cracked it out, because it's really hard to find that. Before we wrap things up, I just want to throw this one out here, because our old buddy Brian Gray. I've had interactions with him, and he's the way he is, right? He gonna keep on Brian Graying. But this week, he was warning collectors that there might want to be a little cooler on Caitlin Clark. Fair enough, right? Maybe she's going to have a downturn, maybe not be as popular as we all think. But no. He wants to warn collectors that are all out there spending all this money on Caitlin Clark. What are you going to do if Caitlin Clark gets pregnant? And not only did he say that people that are buying cards need to be careful buying Caitlin Clark because she could get pregnant, he also created an AI image of Caitlin Clark holding a baby to post on his comment about it. Keep in mind, this is like a 60-some-year-old man talking about like a young 20-year-old girl. This is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. I mean, not only I had an interaction back and forth with this guy, with him defending Backyard Breaks when they said the gross, disgusting stuff they did, but this might even be creepier.
Is this how he's getting first ballot Hall of Fame into the sports card hobby? Is that
that's a different? He's trying to get into a different kind of Hall of Fame with this.
Yeah, that's a different kind of Hall of Fame. That's a D-bag.
He was
right there.
He got a 20-minute video being interviewed by Dustin. We don't get those, so he's doing something better than we are.
Yeah, Dustin. I was going to make a joke of who you sound like right now, but I'm not going to, Mike. Ziggy. I was going to make a Ziggy joke. Bringing it back to Dustin all the time. I didn't see the AI image. That's weird.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, it's bad. It's
right.
Creepy. Didn't I send it in the text? I said it.
I thought you did.
You might have, and maybe I just tried to boop, 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 and like get out of there. Super creepy, super weird. Like female athletes have gotten like it happens. Like, okay, it's the same thing. We can never have a female president. We can never have a female this, female that. Like, chill out, dude. Chill out with your misogyny. I mean, there are other reasons to not want to sink $700,000 into a Caitlin Clark autograph card. There are plenty of other reasons. You don't have to go down the path of the weirdest one. So yeah, that's just like, but like if you look at Brian Gray, oh yeah, you could definitely see him saying that in a room with other people. Like you could totally see him just saying that, because I mean, look at him. I bet he has somebody in the family.
Topics. And he's that one crazy guy. Yep. Yeah, he's that one crazy guy at the party that's saying that stuff, and you're like,
Uncle Brian had a couple of too many Jack and Cokes at Thanksgiving. Shit's gonna get weird.
I think there are some people out there who probably should use ChatGPT to come up with ideas for their content as opposed to just relying on what's floating around in their brain. When I saw the photo that you sent, I was like, oh, look at Caitlin Clark out there kissing. People are handing babies to her. She's kissing babies out there. She's so popular. And I was like, oh my God, that's not what happened. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous. This is one of the most ridiculous stories that we've ever talked about in the show, I think.
And
I think it's up there. It's up top 10.
In true Brian Gray fashion, somebody called him out about this, and then he doubled and tripled down on his comments. So that's Brian Gray. That's what he does. Hall of Fame, baby. Hall of Fame. First ballot.
Take a shower after that segment. Jesus. It's gross.
Yeah, it is gross.
Thinking about Brian Gray, thinking about Caitlin Clark being pregnant also, really, it's off-putting. That is off-putting.
Yep. Sorry about that, everybody. Gonna wrap it up right there. That was a pretty good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.